I know exactly what you're going to say.
No, you don't.
Can't shut it off.
Oh, yes, I was going to say that. I have real anxiety disorder. Like, I cannot stop my brain. I constantly feel like my insides are racing, and that means that I kind of tend to perform at a high level, and so obviously talk a lot and keep it going a lot throughout the day, and so that can be great for performance at work. It's not so great when in those down times I literally needed to flip the switch off because I struggle to do that. And so this is one of my favorite things that we have at QVC. It actually sold out in its debut, and the inventor of it cannot be here tonight, so Brett is standing in for him, but it's called Wholetones. This right here that's kind of like a hockey puck, it is a pre-loaded, battery-operated, basically music station that has and already comes preloaded with over 2.5 hours worth of scientifically proven songs to relax you.
Yeah, it's music that's built in, but before we get into it, what is it not? What isn't it? This is not a sound machine. Because a lot of you have trouble sleeping like I do, or get trouble relaxing during the day or whatever it might be. So we put a sound machine on to distract us. You put it on for noise or whatever it might be, and you go, well, I get that anywhere. No. Michael came up with something that I had no idea that existed. He basically harnessed frequencies. What's a frequency? So my voice is a frequency. Your voice is a frequency. That's a frequency. A dog barking, a door slamming. It's what you do with those frequencies that can help relax you, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, because we listen to music and we listen to noise and sounds all the time. But have you ever walked into a room, you meet somebody for the very first time, and there's something about their voice that's very appealing, and you want to reach out and give them a hug? And then there's the opposite. You walk into a room, you've never met somebody before, they're like, la, 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 and you're like, I can't get away fast enough. That's a frequency as well. So what Michael figured out was there's certain frequencies that you look at right there that do something to us. They help us wind down a little bit. They help us take the edge off a little bit with no medicine, no pills, no doctors. I don't know how he did it. I'm not even sure he could explain it to us and have it make sense to the layman. But the whole idea is that when you hear this music, it's not toe tapping music, right? It's meant to take us down a notch. And I think, Sean, that's pretty incredible when you think about all the science, all the money people spend on drugs, and going to see a therapist and do all these different ways, and there's no guarantee. Listen, there's no guarantee with this either. But
the reviews are off the charts.
They really are.
The reviews are off the charts, and I want to say too, so Michael is, he's an award-winning musician. Like he studies the science of sound. The stories that are told, like we have a mutual friend who was here tonight and was telling us that, because this is not just for human beings, she uses it and plays it while she's out of town or out of the house with her dog. She has 4 rescue dogs. One of them has extreme anxiety.
Separation anxiety. So when anybody leaves the house and that dog was by themselves,
destroys the house.
They go crazy. Yep.
But this, kind of like those thunder blankets,
yes.
This has been proven to actually calm the brain, because frequencies are really like the way of sound talking to the brain. I don't know how he does it either, but the reviews are crazy. And when it sold out in its debut, I couldn't wait to see what the reviews, what really the story they would tell. And now it's back. It is not going to ship until June 12th. I do want you to know that. But when it does, it will not be the $100 that it should be. It will be $69 and change, or better still, less than a $20 bill on Easy Pay. It'll ship to you for free. The Easy Pay does go away at the end of the day, and I personally think any kid going off to college should have one of these.
When I think about all the anxiety of going off to school, freshman year, and leaving the family and all that stuff, and just every part of that adventure, it all works out in the end, but going into it, try telling your kids, it's all fine, and then they get up there and they're like, oh my, it's just sensory overload. But that applies to us as well, whether it's a child, it's an adult, or a pet. Remarkable that it works for animals. But I'll be completely honest, and I probably shouldn't say this on TV, I didn't believe this until I started to listen. And I also have the one for sleep at night, and I am just the worst when it comes to shutting my brain off. I've tried everything. So I put it next to my bed. And I don't know why it's making a difference. I don't truly care. All I know is that whatever he has done to harness those frequencies, and again, frequency is sound, right? Everything makes a noise. Whether you're tapping on a table or the sound you hear on an airplane or traffic going by, some of those sounds are pleasant and some of those sounds help you wind down. Some of those sounds are aggravating, right? They annoy you, they ramp you up. Whatever it is that Michael did with this little chart right here that's on the box, and again, it's not really explained, but believe it or not, each one of these frequencies triggers a different sort of calming sensation, which is really kind of like magic, right? To think that this is the key, instead of going and taking medicine, instead of going and doing all these extremes that we hear about, it could be as simple as this.
Well, we're all so overstimulated, and I think so
gosh.
many of us have worry constantly on the brain, and there's just really more than ever, there is so much either discontent or I'll just leave it at discontent going on in the world. So it's not hard to be amped up and stressed. The hard part is, you know, turning it down, turning it off. And I remember when I debuted with Michael, and again, it sold out in its debut, and he also told the most amazing story. So I can't remember if it was his sister or sister-in-law or his niece, but someone in his family had a baby, and they plugged this in the delivery room. And so Michael shows up to go meet the baby for the first time, and he walks in, and there's doctors and nurses in the room, and he was a little freaked out.
He thought, why is everybody here?
He thought that like something was wrong. And the nurses said to him, "What is this music that is playing?"
What are these sounds?
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, well, this is my name, and I'm the inventor of Wholetones.
Wholetones, yep.
Thank you. Wholetones, which really harnesses like the science of sound to talk to the brain and relax it." And they were like, "These need to be in every maternity ward, like in the world." So I'm with you. Like, I don't get it. In fact, I have read his website. I get it even less when I read his website. It's overwhelming for my brain to try and understand.
I read the whole book.
You did not.
I read the whole book, and I've never done that before with anything. There's usually not a book that applies to anything I've shown you guys on TV. But it was intriguing because some of it was way over my head. But when he starts to get into the audio portion of it, he starts to explain how he figured out a way to harness these frequencies and do something with them, manipulating them. Again, frequency tuned and adjusted or manipulated properly kind of determines whether or not it's going to be soothing or whether it's going to annoy you, whether it's going to be disruptive, whether it's going to be irritating. So whatever it is, with these frequencies, they, for some reason, bring us down in a good way instead of amping you up.
It's already preloaded.
Yeah, everything's inside.
2.5+ hours worth of these scientifically proven relaxation tunes, songs, sounds. They just play.
Yep.
There are controls on the back. But then there's no cord tethered that it has to be to a wall. In fact, there's a little hanger here.
Yep.
If you want to take it on the go, attach it to a hiking backpack, put it in the office, give it to a kid who's going to be in a dorm room, someone that has extreme anxiety, or frankly is just trying to get through like the average day, which for most of us is like over the top. It's a really great way to naturally, easily turn it off, or at least lower the volume on all the racing and the stress.
And all the noise.
And all the noise.
In the figurative and the literal sense, right? There's also a headphone port on here for those of you going, well, I can't play this at work. Yes, you can. Plug in any headphones that you want, pop them in, and kind of disappear, at least inside here. And hopefully it makes a difference for you guys. I'm amazed at the effect and the way that it's helped me kind of tone it down a little bit. So
I'm amazed at the reviews and the stories. Like, that's what I love, because I mean, that's proof in the pudding. Anyway, Brett, being with you was not stressful at all. I just want you to know that.
It was the sound, not me.
The whole time.